Okay, so you know how everyone makes lists, right? Like grocery lists or things you got to get done. Well, get this. Today's deep dive is about someone who takes list making to a whole new level. We're talking about Our Life in Lists of 30 by Clemens Wan. And the crazy thing is, I actually know Clemens
Oh,
personally.
wow. So you're going to give us the inside scoop.
You bet. He's always been this incredible list maker, but not just any list. We're talking lists like 30 life lessons from stand-up comedy, or 30 things I learned building a treehouse with my daughter. Really unique stuff.
That's wild. It's like he's capturing his entire life in these lists.
Exactly. And that's what makes his book so fascinating. It's like getting a glimpse into how his mind works.
So it's not just about getting organized for him. It's more about self-discovery.
You hit the nail on the head. He actually talks about how list making is a form of self-reflection for him, like a more structured, insightful journal in a way.
I could see that. And with 30 items per list, he's really digging deep into each topic.
Oh, absolutely. And he's got some strong opinions about crafting the perfect list, too, you know? One thing that surprised me, he's a huge advocate for formatting. Like, he's really into bolding key ideas. He says it's not just about emphasis, it's about creating a visual rhythm, almost like a song for your eyes.
That's interesting. I've never thought of it that way. I usually just bold things randomly.
Well, Clemens has a whole philosophy about it. He's also big on setting creative constraints.
Constraints. What do you mean?
So, like, he challenges himself to write an entire list in one day, no cheating.
Yeah.
He believes that forcing yourself to work within limits actually sparks new connections and ideas.
Huh. That's interesting. So it's about embracing those limitations and seeing what you can do within them.
Exactly. And it kind of reminds me of that whole concept of micro-resolutions. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, it's about breaking down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, more manageable actions, right?
Right. And that's essentially what Clemens is doing with his lists. He's using them as micro-commitments, a framework for celebrating those small wins.
It's a really interesting approach. It makes you wonder, have you found certain routines or systems particularly effective in your own life?
That's a great question. And you know what? Clemens actually walks us through his process in the book. He encourages us to really tap into our own experiences. Forget external research, he says. This is about digging deep within yourself.
And, when it comes to digging deep, Clemens doesn't shy away from tackling those bigger life topics either.
Oh, you're talking about his lists about work and careers.
Exactly. He has a whole section on navigating the professional world, all in list form, of course.
Right. And it's not just fluffy advice either. He gets into the nitty-gritty. One thing that really struck me was his emphasis on mentorship. He's a huge believer in seeking out mentors, AD being one to others.
It's like that saying, to teach is to learn twice. Clemens seemed to get that.
He really does. He even has this list called 30 Questions for Professionals. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like a cheat sheet for making the most of those mentorship moments. He even includes prompts like, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, I love that. Those kinds of questions can spark such great conversations.
I know, it's brilliant. But Clemens also gets into the practical stuff too, like how to make a strong impression when you're new to a job.
Oh, yeah, those first impressions are so crucial. What kind of tips does he give?
He has this list called 30 Things in the First 30 Days. It's full of really actionable advice.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, so one of his tips is to create a learning list of your colleagues' names and roles.
A learning list. That's interesting.
Right. It's such a simple thing, but it shows you're paying attention, that you're eager to connect with people. I wish I had thought of that for my first job.
It's almost like he's intuitively grasped those unspoken rules of the workplace. He's taken those subtle social dynamics and turned them into concrete actions.
Totally. And you know what's even more impressive? Clemens actually made a huge career jump himself.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
He went from the corporate world to the wild west of startups and blockchain.
Wow, talk about a change of pace. That's a pretty bold move.
Yeah. Right. It just shows you he's not afraid to take risks and try new things. He even joined this blockchain company called R3 as one of their early employees.
That's incredible. The blockchain space is such a whirlwind of innovation. It's like witnessing the birth of a whole new industry.
Exactly. And of course, Clemens documented the entire experience through his lists. He has lists like 30 blockchain buzzwords 2015 and 30 DeFi buzzwords 2021. It's like a time capsule of this rapidly evolving world.
I can only imagine how much things have changed even since 2021. It's such a fast-paced environment.
And it's not just the tech world, you know what I mean? Clemens gets really personal on his lists too, like really relatable stuff. He has lists about like healthy habits and finding joy in everyday moments, things everyone can relate to.
It's true. I think that's part of what makes his book so appealing. It's not just about this niche topic. He's exploring these universal themes that we all grapple with, but
Yeah.
he does it in this really unique way.
Exactly. Like, he has this list called 30 drinking tips.
Mm.
And it's not about, like, how to party or anything. It's more about, like, savoring a good drink, knowing your limits, even being a good conversationalist at a bar. It's pretty cool.
I see. So it's about being mindful, even when you're relaxing.
Right. And then there's the one that really got me, 30 sleep hygiene tips. Oh, man, I felt that one. He talks about everything, creating a bedtime routine, like putting your phone away, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, the phone thing, big one. It's like he's giving us a glimpse into his own struggles and triumphs, Like we're all in this together.
Totally. And speaking of struggles and triumphs, he doesn't shy away from those big life events either, like getting married, having kids. He has this one list, 30 things I learned in the first week of fatherhood. It's hilarious. It's like a crash course in those early days of being a parent. All the sleep deprivation, the funny moments. He captures it all.
It's great that he can find the humor in those moments, right? Being a parent is such a wild ride. It's nice to see someone embracing the chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And what I love is that his lists on fatherhood, they kind of evolve as his daughter grows up. He has lists dedicated to, like, her first smiles, her first steps, even those inevitable toddler tantrums. It's really sweet.
It's like we're witnessing his journey as a parent, those little milestones, the challenges, the joys. It's very human.
It is. This deep dive into Clemens' book has been so refreshing. It's not every day you get to explore someone's life through their lists.
It's true. And it really makes you think about how we can use this simple tool, list making, to kind of understand ourselves better.
Right. And to find those moments of meaning in our own everyday lives. So to everyone listening, maybe give it a try. Pick a topic and see what 30 things come to mind. You might be surprised what you discover. Until next time.